New at noon, an upsetting phenomenon. Really hard to believe here, but unfortunately, it's common for cancer patients to get ghosted by friends or family after their diagnosis. That essentially means they end all communication with them with no explanation or warning.
ABC's Allison Kosick has more on why this happens and what doctors recommend you do to support those in your life who are undergoing cancer treatments.
In the summer of 2023, Ashley Levinson got the call that nobody wants to receive.
That I had breast cancer, stage 2, invasive ductal carcinoma.
Levinson started chemotherapy in August of last year and in January had a double mastectomy. She's just completed her final stage of reconstruction.
I can say a little over a year later that I am now cancer-free.
A year ago, she would have expected to celebrate this moment with two of her relatives, but she hasn't heard from them. Sadly, they haven't spoken to her since her cancer diagnosis.
They both acknowledged that I had cancer, but that was about it.
Levinson isn't alone in experiencing this. It's a phenomenon known as cancer ghosting.
It is when loved ones, whether friends, family, coworkers, people that you know in your life, either stop communicating with the person who has had the cancer diagnosis, or they do little communication, or they become very distant.
Dr. Monique C. James, a medical doctor of psychiatry at Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center, says cancer ghosting is very common.
It was really a punch to the gut when the people that I thought were my core people weren't there for me.
Dr. James says a sense of loneliness and feeling misunderstood are typical after a cancer diagnosis, and cancer ghosting often exacerbates those feelings. It's not always clear why people do this, but Dr. James says often the person doing the ghosting is fearful of something based on past experiences. Levinson suspects that's why her relatives distance themselves. They previously lost another relative to breast cancer.
Maybe they felt ignoring it would make it go away. But as we all know, cancer does not go away on its own. And it really does require a small army.
Dr. James says it is normal and understandable that sometimes people just won't know what to say, and she has some tips. First, try to focus on the present.
It's hard sometimes to conjure up what we expect or don't expect for the future.
It's okay to state the obvious.
That's really sucky, right? It must be really disappointing.
And listen.
Really leave space and room open for their own experience.
When asking, how can I help? Be prepared for whatever they say, even if it's not what you expect. And sometimes just being with the person is enough. If nothing else, a short text can go a long way.
I'm just thinking about you. No need to reply. Just know that you're on my mind.
Levinson says having that support would have made a huge difference.
There are going to be days where you feel like you can't take another step. And sometimes hearing from that person or hearing a kind word gives you that ability to take that step that you need.
Allison Kosick, ABC News, New York.